Herbert Marcuse's Eros and Civilization is a seminal work of critical theory, blending Freudian psychoanalysis with Marxist social theory. Written in the post-World War II context, it examines how industrial society represses human instincts and desires, arguing that liberation requires both psychological and social transformation. Marcuse's main goal is to explore the possibility of a society where human needs, instincts, and creativity are not subordinated to economic and social imperatives, envisioning a non-repressive civilization. 1. The problem of repression. Marcuse begins by analyzing the nature of repression in society. Drawing on Freud, he distinguishes between reality principle, the social demands that require individuals to postpone gratification and conform to societal norms, pleasure principle, the instinctual pursuit of pleasure and satisfaction. According to Marcuse, civilization depends on the repression of instincts, particularly sexual, eros, and aggressive drives, to maintain order. Freud saw this repression as necessary for social survival, but Marcuse questions whether the form of repression in industrial society is natural or imposed by specific socioeconomic structures. 2. Freudian theory and its limits. Marcuse engages deeply with Freudian theory. Primary repression, natural limitations of instinctual gratification. Secondary repression, socially imposed constraints to maintain authority and productive labor. He argues that modern industrial societies rely on secondary repression, which goes beyond necessary limits and serves the interests of domination and labor productivity. This repression results in what Marcuse calls one-dimensional man, a concept he will later elaborate on in his 1964 work, reflecting a society that limits critical thought and creativity. 3. The concept of eros and the role of libido. Marcuse places libido, the energy of the sexual drive, at the center of human liberation. In traditional societies, eros is channeled, redirected, and suppressed to serve social norms. In contrast, Marcuse imagines a non-repressive civilization, where work is not alienating, but liberating. Sexuality and play are free and integrated with life. Creativity and pleasure become central, not subordinated to survival or labor imperatives. This vision challenges the assumption that repression is inevitable for civilization, suggesting instead that technological progress could allow the reduction of labor and provide space for the free development of human instincts. 4. The notion of sublimation reconsidered. Freud emphasized sublimation as the process by which instinctual energy is redirected into socially acceptable activities, e.g., art, science, religion. Marcuse critiques traditional views of sublimation. Sublimation in industrial societies often supports labor productivity and social control rather than individual fulfillment. True sublimation should not be a replacement of instinctual satisfaction, but a transformation that integrates pleasure, creativity, and social life. He envisions a society where work and play are harmonized, and the suppression of eros is unnecessary for social organization. 5. Repressive versus non-repressive civilization. Marcuse distinguishes two possible types of societies. 1. Repressive civilization, current industrial society, where human instincts are systematically restrained to ensure labor discipline, social conformity, and control. 2. Non-repressive civilization, hypothetical society in which technology reduces labor demands, social hierarchies are minimized, and humans can fully express their instincts. This society would be characterized by greater sexual liberation, emphasis on creativity and art, reduction of alienating labor, freedom from oppressive authority structures. Marcuse's non-repressive civilization draws inspiration from utopian Marxist thought, suggesting that technological advancement could be harnessed for liberation rather than domination. 6. The role of technology. Marcuse stresses the dual nature of technology. In repressive societies, technology increases efficiency, productivity, and control, reinforcing social hierarchies. In a liberated society, technology could reduce labor burdens, providing more time for leisure, creativity, and the fulfillment of human desires. Technology thus represents a potential means for human emancipation if coupled with conscious social restructuring. 7. Critical theory and social transformation. Marcuse merges Freudian psychology with Marxist social theory to argue that liberation requires recognizing the psychological roots of repression, understanding the socio-economic structures that sustain repression, cultivating a society that prioritizes human fulfillment over productivity and control, He challenges both capitalist and authoritarian socialist societies which rely on repression for stability. For Marcuse, the goal is a synthesis of psychological freedom and social emancipation. 8. Revolutionary potential and limitations. Marcuse sees potential for revolutionary change in the libidinal energy of human beings. Suppressed desires gain the force for social transformation. Youth culture and artistic expression, often outside conventional labor structures, these can challenge norms and imagine alternatives. However, he recognizes limitations. Entrenched power structures resist non-repressive social models. Psychological repression is deeply internalized, making transformation both social and personal. Liberation is not automatic. It requires conscious political and cultural effort. 9. Influence and legacy. Eros and civilization influenced the New Left and 1960s counterculture by linking sexual liberation with broader social emancipation. It inspired debates about the relationship between desire and labor, the potential for technological society to enable liberation, critiques of consumerism, conformity, and alienation. Marcuse's work remains a cornerstone for understanding the intersection of psychoanalysis, critical theory, and social critique. Conclusion. Herbert Marcuse's Eros and Civilization is both a critique and a vision. It critiques the repressive nature of modern industrial society, showing how human instincts, particularly erotic and creative drives, are suppressed to maintain social order and economic productivity. At the same time, it envisions a non-repressive civilization made possible by technology, social transformation, and liberation of human desire. Marcuse challenges the inevitability of repression and opens a space for imagining societies in which pleasure, creativity, and freedom are central to human life.